Okay, so I've had a lot of guys that have wrote in from online that had questions about they love what we do, what we call the float, and they had questions about what really is the float and what type of, like, can you describe different types of floats and how people typically do it and so forth and what we see. And I'll give you some basic examples because really the float, you're dealing with energy. You're dealing with energy of the body, and you're dealing with energy of the shaft. Okay, and you could also say potentially energy with the sweet spot as well. Primary energies are going to be the body, how it stores energy in the float or does not store energy, and same thing with the handle, which is just the grip. So what we teach is the way I classify it would be a backswing floating. Okay. So what I mean by that is when you see our players and myself and so forth, when they're training, we're going to be swinging into our backswing and wherever the end point. So if I know my end point is going to be here, right? When I get to this zone, right before it, I'm going to sink my legs here. You'll see that, and then float the club back to that, let's say 3/4. And that's what we call backswing floaters. So we're here, boom, we float it, and now all we are downswing guys. Bam, right? There's a lot of different ways to do this. The most efficient, by far and away, if you look at the ball strikers over the history of time, or will do it, in my opinion, the backswing floaters. Okay, there's there's several other types, but here's a couple that we see. Dead energy, which would be they cock their wrist right at the end. They get the same, it's kind of stiff, and they turn, and it doesn't look awful and all that, and that's one energy, right? The problem with that is I still, even though I'm here, I have a certain amount of torque in my body right here, even if I make it look good. You know, if I try to make it look really good, I still have some torque here, but it's kind of like dead to this spot, okay? And what I mean by that is it kind of stops here, and then there's a downswing and so forth. And I call it dead energy. Typically, it leads to push energy. So they'll go here and here, okay? And that was a good version. That's more the Steve Stricker version there. And so you can do it. It's not the most efficient way to do it, especially if you're trying to create power and accuracy both at the same time. So that's one way. So you'll see guys get to their backswing, they stop, and then they shoot down. And typically what you'll see when they shoot down, they'll shoot the club head out, you know, and so forth. Now, you have guys that do the slack, okay? So that looks like this. So they swing back, they cock the wrist and uncock the wrist, and their body's moving all over the place. So there's a lot of slack body, or it could be just the shaft has slack. So it's this. So it's they get up here, there's slack, and they can't sustain that to the grip alignment point. They can't sustain all that slack. So it's just kind of like, and really, if they have that, and they have some whip to it, they have a lot. It'll create a lot of potential once they start to understand really how to float the club, collect the energy, and drag it, and then get it to the grip alignment point and release it. So once they understand that, they've taught the proper fundamentals how to build that, they're very dangerous players. So the ones that really slack it can over slack. Sometimes if they have a lot of whip, they can have the potential to be really good players. Yes, once they know what to do with it. Another way is what we call downswing floaters, and these players are typically would be like a Byron Nelson. They don't do anything going back here. It's pretty dead. They just use shoulder turn and really no wrist cock right here. And as they start down, they float and they collect their energy here, and they go attack the ball. Okay, Wes Short does that really well. He's kind of a downswing floater, not a backswing floater. Trying to think of some of the other players that do it. Those two players, Byron Nelson stands out. I mean, you can visually see it. It's like no wrist cock. Then it's really not wrist cock when you understand floating. We're not going to go into all that, but they go dead wrist, and then they start to sink and gather their energy and go at it. The float that we teach, you would see, would be Bubba Watson. You can visually see it. Fred Couples, Ben Hogan, Mo Norman. Those are all backswing floaters. And you can really see that Gary Woodland is one. Jason Duffner does a really good job of it. could be a little bit better at it, but does a good job of it in general. Those are backswing floaters. And you look at the history of time and the best ball strikers over the history of time, and you'll see that backswing floaters are the most efficient. The reason why some guys, like I heard Johnny Miller say, the golf swing will go to like a Steve Stricker golf swing one day. In my opinion, it really won't. And the reason why people say that is because it looks like you can steer the club and the ball around the golf course. And when I see guys that swing like that every day, and they're not good, and they don't have any power. They squeeze as hard with their neck and their arms as they come through impact because they don't have any stored energy. That's not the swing of the future. The swing of the future, it's not even the swing of the future. It's what's been going on for past 100 years. Guys have been doing this. You look at Bobby Jones, you look at Ben Hogan, you look at as the game's transformed, it's just bigger and better. Roy McIlroy is a perfect example. Bubba Watson. You can really see what we're teaching, because we're not really talking so much about the swing styles and all that. Doesn't have anything to do with styles. It's energy. Okay. So you see there's a couple other ways we see it. Guys that set their club really early here, so you see them doing that. That is we call it. Those are going to be down cockers. So what I mean by that is they set it really hard here, then they turn the backswing and they pull it like that. Looks good on video. Usually have a really hard time sustaining the grip alignment point, what we call that. Having good timing, because they set it hard and then they cock it hard like that, and they look just like Ben Hogan and all that, and then they look like this at impact, or they look like this at impact. They can't sustain all that. But it's not really lag. Lag is it's club staying behind. It's soft. But I can tell you from right here, anytime I want to explode on that golf ball, I can just give it all I want, right? I don't have to have a club back here. If the longest here in the world would here be Sergio Garcia, if that was you see that way back here. And he is a long hitter. He's a great ball striker. He knows how to sustain that. It feels good to him. He can sustain this at impact. Not out here is what I mean. Right here, he sustains it right at the impact point. He gets rid of it and maintains it. Okay. Most guys can't do that. We see amateurs working on setting it early and turning their shoulders and really getting it in here and getting it right in here, and it looks good, and they can't break 100, and they really struggle with that, okay? Because they're trying to think of positions and really not energy and logic, okay? This club should just swing. See, it should just swing around your body. It should be constantly swinging. I don't want all this violence like that. See, that is making the energy go up and down the shaft. If you just use your logic, common sense. When I start doing this stuff, the energy slams back from the handle to the head. My body, it just shifted really fast, quickly in my body, and I'm trying to hit the ball at the same time, so the energy is just going all over the place. Okay, with the shaft and the body. When you do what we teach, when you float it, here, I've stored this energy. It gets really slow. Boom. I've got control of that golf club in the sweet spot the entire time for max power and precision. Okay, so that's what we call backswing floaters. Downswing floaters are extremely good ball strikers as well. Down cockers, you don't see as many of those because it's too hard to sustain. The reason why you don't see it, there's not every guy on tour, if they wanted to go out and play like this, they could do all that. Okay? Make the Sergio effect, but it's not that's a way to do it. It's just really hard to time it up, okay, to sustain all that energy. And it's unnecessary. You don't have to do it. And in my opinion, it's not the most efficient way. Okay, so. Again, hope that helps you understand the energy of the float and what we're really looking at. So dead energy would be here. Most of the time you see dead energy, they push the club out, push it towards the ball. It is a way to play. If you sustain sustain the shaft up and do this, you can hit it good doing that. A little limited. Downswing floaters look like this. So they go back, 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 like this. Boom. So it goes here. Boom. It's hard for me to do it because that's not my style. Here, so if I was paused, then you see that. That's the downswing floaters there. It's really hard for me to do because that's not what I do. Backswing floaters look like this. So as I'm going back, before I hit the top of the backswing, you see me sticking my rear end out, squatting with the knees and letting the shaft fall back a little bit. So I get here and I let the shaft fall back a little bit. Okay. And when I do that, then store all the energy and unload on it. That's the best way. So anyway, hope that helps you out.